Hello all, and welcome to Explained with Dylan. Now, if you watched my Sports with Dylan video, which I highly recommend, which I released, 30 minutes ago from when you're watching this? Then I did not remotely explain why I'm here, and I'm not going to do that either. All I will say, once again, desk in front of me, office chair here, no, this is not my house, but I can still make videos. And it is Friday, so it is time for an Explained with Dylan. There is a piece of Russia that is not remotely connected to Russia. But why? Why does Russia still have it, given that they lost that entire area quite a while back? That piece of Russia would be Kaliningrad. And once when I was, call it 6 or 7 years old, I had a globe in my room. And I would spend hours and hours just looking at that globe. And I was so confused for the longest time because I thought there were two different countries both named Russia. Because it didn't say Kaliningrad, it just said Russia again, because it's completely landlocked, but the globe was big enough that it didn't name any of the Russian states. So it just said that it was Russia. So I assumed the natural thing that obviously there's just two countries right nearby each other named Russia. Which honestly wouldn't have been that shocking, given that there's Niger and Nigeria. There's like 5 different countries with the name Guinea, so honestly it wouldn't have been that shocking if there are two completely different Russias. But no, that is not the case. Kaliningrad is part of the Russia you know, the one run by Vladimir Putin. But why? Why is Kaliningrad, which is completely isolated from mainland Russia, part of Russia? Because that whole area, all of the bordering countries, Poland, which was part of the Iron Curtain, but never the USSR, but then you've got Lithuania, which is also right there, the other main bordering country, which was part of the USSR. And there's plenty of other countries around it, part of the USSR, but they all became independent. So why is Kaliningrad still part of Russia? To answer that question, I have to go back a bit. You see, that whole area used to be German. That includes a large part of what is now Poland and all of what is now Lithuania. That was the case for a couple hundred years, up until the First World War. Once Germany got defeated, then they lost a lot of territory, although they still kept the Kaliningrad and the surrounding area of what is now Poland. Although they lost all of Lithuania and a large part of Poland, making this area of Kaliningrad, which was not referred to as such at the time, being completely landlocked from Germany. It bordered Poland and Lithuania, same thing as today. But the Germans still completely controlled it. That was not the case for long, though, because pretty quickly after that, Hitler came in, and World War II started. From there, then eventually, obviously, Germany ended up losing that war as well. And that time, the Allies said, okay, we're making your territory even smaller. And then they lost all of what is now Kaliningrad. And then Russia took it and decided to rename it to Kaliningrad. That is also when countries such as Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia all joined the USSR. That entire Iron Curtain was part of the USSR. Poland, as I mentioned earlier, was not, but it was part of the Iron Curtain. It was a communist country. It was pretty close. So even though it had its own government, then it was still as close as you can get in relations to the USSR without being a part of it. Now, obviously, from there, the USSR ended up breaking up. So why the heck did Kaliningrad not become independent as well? Well, you see, the problem with that is that they are not big enough. It's pretty simple. They don't have the population, they don't have the resources, they cannot become independent. Despite having the European Union right there, they could probably join them if they became an independent country. It wouldn't be enough. That country has nothing. It's just over 1 million people. They cannot strive on their own. The bigger question is, why didn't they join another country? And actually, they were pretty close. Before the USSR was dissolved, then Nikita Khrushchev actually offered that area of Kaliningrad to Lithuania, which was at the time a state inside of the USSR. Lithuania turned it down because the two areas were nothing ethnically like each other. So they figured it would just cause disturbances in the future. And holy crap, they are the one smart European country. And I probably should not be saying that right now. I really were. Anyways, that is extremely smart of them. Because the amount of times, especially in Africa and the Middle East, where the Europeans have just drawn borders of countries that are not remotely ethnically similar, and it has caused so many problems. The list goes on and on and on. I have made multiple videos already about it, and there will be more in the future. I can guarantee you that. So Lithuania was very smart to not accept Kaliningrad, because Lithuania is not that big either. If the Kaliningradians, I don't know what the name is for the people that live there, but if the people that are ethnically Kaliningrad then tried to revolt against Lithuania, then Lithuania would probably win, but they would still have a tough fight because Lithuania isn't a major world power. Poland is in the exact same position. They're just so ethnically different from Kaliningrad, despite the fact that, yes, they do have a way larger population. It would overwhelm Kaliningrad's, but even still, it wouldn't make sense to have them in the same country. The only country, aside from Russia, that they are ethnically similar to is Germany, because there's still plenty of Germans that still live there. But it really just wouldn't make sense for Germany, an EU country, now to take this territory. Obviously, Germany had just reunited when the USSR was dissolving. And it wasn't really an option at the time because Russia wasn't on the best of terms with West Germany, obviously, and the two united became democracy. So Russia wasn't exactly thrilled about that. And nowadays, it definitely wouldn't happen to any of these countries because Russia's obviously not going to give up a vital piece of their territory. Now, I have got to say, it is extremely smart that Lithuania turned down Kaliningrad, not only because they're so ethnically different, but that is the exact same time Nikita Khrushchev offered up Crimea to Ukraine. Ukraine accepted that because, yes, they are way more ethnically similar. It did make sense, but look at the position they're in now. That did not turn out well. And if Khrushchev had given up Kaliningrad, it is entirely possible that Putin could have tried to take all of Lithuania. Now, it would be more difficult. He'd never do it nowadays because Lithuania is in the EU. But prior to them being in the EU, then someone could have tried. So it was likely a smart decision because I don't think Lithuania would be smart to take on a bunch more ethnic Russians. Kaliningrad is now in a tough situation because they are landlocked from Russia. They aren't connected remotely. And Russia isn't easily able to get to Kaliningrad anymore. There's not much trade between them. So Kaliningrad is becoming more and more autonomous these past couple of years with the war in Ukraine and all the tensions rising around Europe. But it is still part of Russia and will likely remain that way for the foreseeable future. For now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon.